Tom Brady just did something that instantly made the entire sports world pause. The seven-time Super Bowl champion added a Caitlin Clark trading card to his personal collection of more than 10,000 cards. And he didn't describe it as good. He didn't call it impressive. He called it greatness. Not greatness. That's a word Brady rarely throws around lightly. It's the same word he has used when talking about the most legendary athletes he has ever witnessed. And the moment he said it about Caitlin Clark, people across the sports world started paying very close attention. Because right now, the trading card market attached to Clark's name is doing something that women's sports has never seen before. Records are falling one after another, numbers are exploding, and collectors everywhere are trying to get their hands on anything connected to her. So here's the real question. Could Caitlin Clark's trading card market eventually pass Michael Jordan's and become the most valuable in basketball history? Think about that for a second. If you've got an opinion, drop it in the comments right now. And if you enjoy deep dives into moments like this, make sure you subscribe to Court Queens and hit that like button because this story gets even bigger. Let's start with the card itself, because the details here matter more than people realize. Tom Brady added a 2024 Prism Authentic Rookie card of Caitlin Clark to his personal collection. This wasn't just any card sitting in a random binder. The card features Clark's signature and a handwritten inscription from Caitlin herself. One word written in her own handwriting, greatness. Brady shared the card on his Instagram story, tagged Clark's account, dropped a fired-up emoji, and told everyone it was the newest addition to his legendary collection. Clark saw the post, reposted it to her own audience, and let the moment speak for itself. No long caption, no explanation, just a quiet acknowledgement that something significant had happened. Now, before anyone shrugs this off as one celebrity hyping up another celebrity, you have to understand what Tom Brady's card collection actually represents. Brady didn't suddenly start collecting cards after becoming rich and famous. This goes all the way back to his childhood. He has talked about how he used to spend every dollar he made from his paper route buying trading cards. According to Brady, he was earning about $3 a month at the time, and every single cent went toward building that collection. Fast forward decades later, and that same collection has reportedly grown to more than 10,000 cards. This is someone who has spent a lifetime studying sports history through collectibles. The same discipline he brought to playing quarterback for 22 seasons is the discipline he brought to collecting. So when Tom Brady decides to add someone to that collection, it isn't random. It isn't casual. And it definitely isn't a publicity stunt. It's a deliberate decision from someone who understands the value of sports history and knows exactly which athletes belong among the greats. And the card he selected literally has the word greatness written across it in Caitlin Clark's handwriting. What makes this even more interesting is that Brady has been signaling his respect for Clark for a while now. Last year, he revealed his personal Mount Rushmore of athletes. Not female athletes. Not basketball players. Just athletes, period. Across every sport and every era. And Caitlin Clark made the list. Think about that. A man who won 7 Super Bowls, who spent more than 2 decades competing against the greatest players in NFL history, who understands elite performance better than almost anyone alive, looked across the entire sports landscape and decided Caitlin Clark belongs in that conversation. Brady has also talked about the rivalry between Clark and Angel Reese, saying it's one of the most compelling dynamics in sports right now. And that makes sense when you think about Brady's personality. He has always gravitated toward the highest level of competition possible. That's the only level he ever played at. So the fact that he's watching that rivalry closely tells you he sees real stakes in women's basketball. But this story becomes truly historic when you look at the numbers behind the card market. In 2025, Caitlin Clark became the most collected active basketball player in the entire sport. Not the most collected female player. The most collected active basketball player, full stop. More than 136,700 of her cards were graded by professional grading services in a single year. For anyone unfamiliar with how that works, grading is when collectors pay experts to evaluate the condition of a card and give it a score from 1 to 10. Once graded, the card is sealed in a protective case and can be sold at significantly higher prices. People don't pay for grading unless they believe the card has serious financial value. It's an investment decision. And here's where the numbers become almost unbelievable. Clark's 136,700 graded cards in 2025 surpassed the combined totals of LeBron James, Stephen Curry, and Anthony Edwards. LeBron had around 59,000. Curry had about 33,000. Edwards had roughly 30,000. Add all of those together, and you get about 122,000 cards. Caitlin Clark alone generated more than that by over 14,000. Let that sink in for a moment. 3 of the biggest stars in the NBA combined still didn't reach her total for the year. The only basketball player who had more graded cards in 2025 was Michael Jordan, with around 206,000. Yes, that Michael Jordan. 6 championships. 5 MVP awards. A global icon whose documentary pulled in viewers who had never even watched basketball before. Clark is sitting right behind him and ahead of every other active player in the sport. That's the territory her name now occupies in the collectibles market. Then there are the individual sale prices. And this is where things start sounding almost unreal. One flawless logo woman one-of-one Caitlin Clark card sold for $660,000. That's the highest price ever paid for a women's sports card in history. Not just basketball. Any women's sport. Ever. Imagine paying more than $500,000 for a single trading card. And it didn't stop there. Another gold vinyl one-of-one graded PSA 10 sold for $366,000. 2 separate cards, both selling for more money than many people make in years of work. Before Clark came along, the record belonged to a Serena Williams card that sold for $266,400. Serena Williams, a 23-time Grand Slam champion and arguably the greatest female athlete America has ever produced. Clark's card didn't just pass that record, it completely shattered it. Now here's another interesting detail. The card Brady added to his collection isn't even the rarest Caitlin Clark card that exists. It's not a one-of-one. But in the collectibles world, association can change everything. When a card ends up inside the collection of someone as significant as Tom Brady, its story changes. The narrative around it grows. Collectors start seeing it differently. Provenance matters, and Brady's collection carries serious respect within the hobby. So when Clark's card sits alongside the thousands of historic pieces Brady has collected over decades, it instantly gains another layer of meaning. And the fact that the word greatness is written on it in Clark's own handwriting makes the moment feel even more symbolic. It's almost like a statement from the beginning of her career about where she believes this journey is heading. Now there's another layer to this story that's creating tension behind the scenes in the WNBA. It involves the league's current collective bargaining agreement and how revenue from trading cards is distributed. Right now, money from league-wide card deals gets split evenly among players through group licensing agreements. That means the massive demand for Clark's cards doesn't just benefit her. The revenue is shared across the entire player pool. Agents representing major market stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have reportedly pushed back on that structure during negotiations. Their argument is simple. If certain players are driving most of the commercial interest, their compensation should reflect that impact instead of being spread evenly across everyone. At the same time, Clark's off-season life continues to look very different from the average WNBA player. She's been attending global fashion events like the Prada Fall 2026 show in Milan, sitting front row next to Olympic champion Eileen Gu, while league negotiations continue in the background. She's preparing for Team USA's World Cup qualifiers. She surprised a young fan with exclusive autographed Nike sneakers. And she's building a brand that stretches across sports, fashion, and business in ways women's basketball has rarely seen before. When Brady placed Clark on his Mount Rushmore of athletes last year, that wasn't some throwaway comment. Brady is famously obsessed with greatness. He studies it, he respects it, and he doesn't hand out that kind of praise casually. So when he publicly identifies someone as belonging in that conversation, people take notice. The card market is essentially the financial version of what Brady is saying. Collectors who graded more than 136,000 Clark cards in 1 year, who paid $660,000 for one card and $366,000 for another, are placing their bets on the same belief. They think Caitlin Clark is a generational athlete whose legacy will only grow with time. And the truth is, we're still early in that story. Clark is just at the beginning of what could be a long career at the top of the sport. Historically, athlete memorabilia often becomes even more valuable years later when careers are fully completed and legends are cemented. Right now, these prices exist before Clark has won a WNBA championship, before she's had multiple fully healthy seasons, before her career statistics even begin to tell the full story. So imagine what the market could look like 10 years from now. Tom Brady understands that better than almost anyone. He has been around the memorabilia world long enough to see how legends evolve over time. He knows that the earliest collectors of generational athletes often end up holding pieces of history. By publicly adding Clark's card to his collection, Brady may have been sending a message about where he believes this story is going. He called it greatness. He displayed it to millions of people. And the word written on that card was already waiting there before he ever bought it. Clark didn't need to respond with a long statement when she reposted Brady's story. The message was already clear. Greatness was written on the card. Tom Brady placed Caitlin Clark on his Mount Rushmore, added her card to a 10,000-piece collection, and called it greatness. The collectibles market responded by smashing every record women's sports had ever seen. And if the current trajectory continues, we may only be watching the very beginning of something historic. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to subscribe to Court Queens, like the video, and tell us in the comments. Will Caitlin Clark eventually have the most valuable trading cards in basketball history? Because this story is far from over.